Hi everyone, it's Megan from Teach Me ABA, powered by Piles & Associates. Today we'll be talking about how to overcome obstacles to goals. Today, Brittany can't join us because she is in her finals week for one of her last semesters of graduate school. So go Brittany. She's achieving her own goals, but she's taking a break this week so that she can accomplish those things. She identified a barrier, much like we'll be talking about today. She is working to overcome it. We'll talk about several different types of obstacles that people experience when trying to reach their goals and how to overcome those. One common obstacle that people experience is that you can't even motivate yourself to get started on the goal. This is really common. Oftentimes we find that our goal is just overwhelming and feeling unachievable. So when you're experiencing this, one thing you can do is take a step back and reassess your goal. You may want to break it up into smaller steps so you can work on it incrementally rather than looking at this whole big thing. So when you set yourself up with smaller goals along the way, then you're able to reward yourself for those achievements that you accomplish. For example, one thing that Brittany may be experiencing right now is that she has a big term paper to write, and so she doesn't want to wait until she is finished with that term paper to be able to contact some sort of reinforcement. What she should do is break it up into smaller steps and then reward herself along the way. So maybe first she needs to do a literature review, so first she should gather her sources and then give herself a little reward. Then she can read those sources and again reward herself. And just keep building up on those incrementally so that she's constantly contacting success rather than waiting until the very end and just feeling like she's not getting rewarded at all for all of her hard work. A second obstacle might be that you just totally forget to work on your goal. I know I experienced this when I had the goal that I wanted to work on while I was on vacation. Since I was on vacation, I was in a new environment. I really didn't have things set up so that I could work on that goal. I didn't bring my data sheet with me. I had nothing to remind me to work on this. So I noticed that that was my major obstacle in that. And you may experience this when you're trying to build a new habit. One way you can keep yourself from forgetting is to leave little reminders for yourself throughout your environment so that you remember to work on it. So I like to keep my handy dandy Post-it notes around. And one thing that I find really helpful is just writing a little note and leaving it on my front door. So maybe you're finding that you want to work out after work, but you keep forgetting your gym bag. You can put a Post-it note on your door so you remember to bring that with you when you're leaving. A third obstacle could be that you just can't find the time to work on your goal. This is probably what Brittany is experiencing right now, and I also have been experiencing this with a large project that I have for work. What I've done to make it more likely that I'm going to accomplish this goal is that I've set aside an entire day each week to work specifically only on this goal. So I've blocked my time and I made sure that there's nothing else competing with me accomplishing this goal. You might find it helpful to write your goal down on your calendar. If you have it written down, then that'll keep you from overscheduling anything else in that same period of time. This next obstacle is another one that I've been experiencing a lot lately. You may have other things or other people, or in my case, animals that are keeping you from accomplishing your goal. I know that every time my dog sees that yoga mat laid out on the floor, he thinks it's time to play and wrestle. So what I've been doing is letting him out into the backyard with some of his favorite treats so that he can do that instead of distracting me while I'm doing my workout videos. But maybe you have a child or a spouse who is distracting you from accomplishing your goal. One thing that you can do is give them a task or an assignment for that same period of time. Maybe you're working on reading more so that you can relax. Your child can do this too, but with their own book, and then you guys can make time afterwards, some bonding time, and discuss it. When you give somebody something else to do in that period of time, they'll be a lot less likely to distract you. You can also set up some cues in your environment that will let the people around you know not to distract you. I talk with this with a lot of the moms that I work with. They find themselves constantly getting distracted by their kids. So I like to have a red light, green light system. So when the green light is on the door, then they can see, oh, okay, it's fine to come in and talk with mom or roommate or whatever your relationship happens to be with that person. But then when they see the red sign on the door, they know that it's that time that they shouldn't be distracting you. A final obstacle may be that you're making some progress towards your goal, but you're just not quite reaching that criterion that you set. We saw this with Brittany during our first week of working on our goals. So that was when we had our second video to discuss our barriers. She was just so busy with work and with school, and she realized that perhaps she just set her criterion a little too high. And there are a lot of different ways to deal with this. You can decrease your criterion. So what I would recommend is taking some data or just writing notes on how you're performing right now. You can do this just by writing down how many minutes you engage in a certain activity or how many times you do it. When you start off with evaluating where you're currently functioning, then that can help you set an attainable goal. So take your current level and then just increase it a teeny little bit so you're setting a goal that you'll be able to reach. Then once you're fluent with this and you're doing it consistently, you can keep gradually building and building and building until you're able to reach that final criterion. Another way to overcome this obstacle can be time blocking. So this is where you create your schedule and you put a specific period of time where you only work on this goal. This is similar to my recommendation earlier. So just make sure that you've cleared all of your distractions, that you won't schedule anything else for that same amount of time, and this will help you make sure that you're really putting enough time in to dedicate to reaching your goal. Are you guys encountering any obstacles in reaching your goals? If so, leave us a comment and we'll help you troubleshoot. Thanks for tuning in. This is Megan with Teach Me ABA.